Hello everybody, welcome to the GRL European Porsche Cup League. This is round 6, it is Road Atlanta evening. We are in for an absolute treat this evening. Quick mention though, I'm not going to be doing the full race broadcast this evening. We had a 15-minute sprint race and a 30-minute feature race. I use a replay file, I think I've mentioned previously, to do these after the fact broadcasts. When I do a live broadcast, easy. I can do it live, I can replay whatever I want, and then I can cut back to live footage. With the replay file, you can't do that. So if I miss a big incident, a major pass for the lead, a awesome scrap, whatever it might be, sometimes the checkered flag, let's face it, I can't go back and rewatch it because it's gone. The replay file is there and it follows where you are in the sequence. You can't go back or forward without having to pretty much break the whole thing and start from scratch again. So I'm going to run a different format. Let me know in the comments if you like it, if you don't, what you liked, what you didn't, and I'll try and refine it as we go. Essentially, I will be able to show a lot more of the session and show you the exciting parts as well. So hopefully it's a bit more watchable, a bit more digestible. Definitely open to feedback when you see this. Hope you enjoy it. Let's head down to look at the grid for the sprint race.
Let's go! F1 gamer dead on the grid!
Okay, track conditions. Checking on these before we get to the grid. 27 degrees Celsius air temperature, 28 degrees track temp. Road Atlanta is a 4.06 kilometer long circuit. We are a little bit above sea level, 291 meters above sea level. So I think it's the highest elevation we've had of this season so far. 31% humidity, and we're not expecting any precipitation this evening. We're in sunset, late sunset, going into the night, and it made for some very interesting track conditions as the night wore on. All right, over to the grid. And here we go for the sprint race. We have Samuel Lindelof off the front row with Robert Koppler. We'll see the timing tower pop up shortly. Lindelof leads us away into the first corner. We've got Guy Edwards in behind Koppler, chasing down the top two. Lindelof leading us nicely away into the S's. In behind Koppler, as I said, Edwards, then Schultz, Cattleback, Ian Stitchbury, Christopher Smith, Eamon Ratchdy, Josephine Becker. And Ratchdy got an extraordinary start in this one. He's already up 2 places at this point. Josephine Becker in 8th. Mark de Bruin in P9, also up 2 spots. I am actually in behind Mark, and I lost 2 spots. Not the ideal start for the sprint race. We can see Neil Killen and Freek Smit here trading blows early on in the sprint race. So Killen getting ahead of Smit, but Samuel Lindelof leading the way down the back stretch. This is a good drafting opportunity for everyone as they come down the hill into this tricky chicane. There was plenty of action in this chicane throughout the event. We can see everyone getting through nicely though. Lap 1 of the sprint race. This was one of the more steady passes through the chicane. And Lindelof leads the first lap, doing very well leading from the front. He has not been with us the last couple of rounds, and we've also got Philip Harmer not with us for this round, so an opportunity to shake up the grid. And Robert Koppler maybe content just hanging in there a little bit to keep the pressure on Philip Harmer for the championship lead, which could be his by the end of this round. We can see Charlie Spink in the great Aston Villa livery there, in ahead of Neil Killen and Freek Smit. Freek Smit, whoa, taking a lot of curb, avoiding Killen there. What happened there? Neil Killen way off the racing line and way off the pace as Freek Smit comes through to take the position. This is Mark de Bruin under pressure from me. I've taken the inside and taking the position very nicely indeed. But this has opened up an opportunity here for Willems. And Willems takes the spot up into P9 very nicely. I'm there on the inside, which then becomes the outside for the next one, and the inside for the next one. We're still side by side. This is opening up for Mark de Bruin to come through as well. Oh, nice battle there. This is Ian Stitchbury into the chicane, just taking to the grass. We should have a feature called Lawnmowers of the Week at Road Atlanta, because you can see here as well, look in the background, a lot of cars, oh, maybe not on this lap, a lot of cars were taking to the grass, and it became a bit of a feature of this event. This is Killen again, attacking Frick. Smith. Oh, Frick taking a lot too much curve. Oh, he's off into the barrier. That was a big hit. There's going to be some damage on Frick's Porsche there. Another look at this. Just takes way too much curb. The car gets unsettled. The rear loses traction, and he ends up all right-hand side into the barriers. This is now Eamon Ratchty and Josephine Becker coming into the chicane. Becker takes the inside, which then becomes the outside. There's a bit of a hip and shoulder. Ratchty goes off. Do we get a redress here from Josephine? I think we are. Slowing down a little bit on the outside of the final corner. Ratchty goes through. Great sportsmanship there from Josephine as she looks to keep this battle going into turn 1. Got Neil Killen now in lap 7, taking to the grass, doing a bit more mowing, a bit of community service there. Mowing the inside of the chicane. Again, the chicane. This is Michael Schultz Cattleback with Christopher Smith in behind. Smith now taking to the inside on the final corner. Oh, takes Michael Schultz Cattleback with him. He was very slow. He was off the oh no, the rejoin. He's rejoined right onto the racing line. Ratchet comes through. Becker comes through. I come through. Oh, and Willems has hit. Oh, and he hits the barrier. Oh no, and he's off into the path. Oh, Charlie Spink had nowhere to go there. Another replay shows Smith into Schultz Cattleback. Schultz Cattleback maybe should have towed here, but spins right onto the racing line. We've got 3 cars coming at speed. 4 cars, in fact. One of them was Willems, who clobbers the back of the ASR car. Another one, Charlie Spink, just had nowhere to go. He had a stationary car as he came around the last corner. We can see this on board now. Firstly with Yannick Willems. Again, and I've only just avoided Michael's rear end there, and Willems comes behind me unsighted. No chance he was going to be able to react in time there. That was very unfortunate. This is later on, and Spink coming through. And again, Michael Schultz Cattleback just coming right across, leaving Charlie with nowhere to go. This was lap 9. Yeah, that was a difficult one. Oh, Charlie attempting to keep going. His front right was buckled. This is now Christopher Smith, who was able to keep fighting on. This is Ian Stitchbury on the inside of the chicane. Gets through very nicely. Great move from Stitchbury there to get up into P4 ahead of Christopher Smith. Christopher maybe had a little bit of residual damage from the previous hit with Schultz Cattleback. This is now Samuel Lindelof leading away still, and he did such a phenomenal job in this race to just be steady at the front, not giving any opportunities to Robert Koppler in P2. Robert also doing a very fine job just to keep tabs on Samuel Lindelof and not let him get too far ahead, but he was not able to get there in the end. So Samuel Lindelof taking the win in race 1, and Robert Koppler in P2, just under 0.2 of a second behind. Guy Edwards takes a podium in P3. Ian Stitchbury is P4. Christopher Smith is 5th position. Eamon Ratchty, a really great job there to be P6. Josephine Becker, P7. I take P8. Neil Killen is P9. Mark de Bruin is 10th. We've then got Gertz in P11, Shirley P12, Frick Smith 13th, Nick DeBeck P14, Debelo is P15, Spink 16, Willems 17th, and Michael Schultz Cattleback in the final position there. Race 2 and our feature race, 30 minutes, sees a reverse top 8, which Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how we look at it, I take pole position, but keep an eye on Eamon Ratchty in behind my green Wildfire racing car. Goes through the middle of myself and Josephine Becker to take the race lead at turn 1, and already with a car length advantage over myself and Josephine. Just an absolutely stellar start. I will admit I bogged down. I didn't get a good start whatsoever, but Eamon Ratchty just taking off there into P1. And yeah, not much more we could have done there. Even if we had gotten a good start, that was just an absolute flyer from Ratchty, who leads us away now. Half a second back to Josephine Becker, who leads myself and Ian Stitchbury, Guy Edwards, Robert Koppler, Christopher Smith, and our race 1 winner, Samuel Lindelof in P8. Reverse grid in this race really did us some great favors. There was action everywhere. We can see Lindelof making short work of Christopher Smith there to take P7. He's got his sights set now on his race 1 nemesis, Robert Koppler. You can see plenty of fighting in the background there. We can see Mark de Bruin, Neil Killen. We can see Gertz, Smith. We can see almost 3 wide coming into the chicane. I've been absolutely swamped there. I've got Koppler in close company, who takes the inside, goes off onto the grass, makes it 3 wide, and we've got a huge incident. Oh, it's myself, Christopher Smith, and Robert Koppler. 3 does not go into 1 there in the final turn. We'll see a replay here. We've got Smith on the outside. I'm in the middle. Koppler comes across the grass. A bit of a hip and shoulder. A bit of net code, admittedly, between myself and... sorry, it's not Chris Smith. It's Guy Edwards, that one on the outside. Edwards comes off second best as well after hitting the wall. Later on in this lap, we've got Christopher Smith and Samuel Lindelof. Lindelof wanting to get through the pack as quickly as possible. Smith there taking advantage of a rare mistake from Lindelof and eventually being able to stay ahead. We've now got 4, almost 3 wide. We've got 2 or 3 banks of 2. This is crazy stuff. Schultz Cattleback, Martin Shirley. We've then got Willems in there as well. How does this pan out? Going into the chicane, we've got Schultz Cattleback getting ahead. Oh, and then having to take to the grass. He's carried too much speed. So we've got Schultz Cattleback ahead of Shirley. He'll slow down, give the place back to Shirley. Great sportsmanship. And we almost go 3 wide again there through the final corner. But it is Willems. Oh, Schultz Cattleback fights back on the outside. We go to turn 1. Willems is still there. Really great racecraft from Willems to stay in the fight. Now got Frick Smith and Gertz. And we've got Willems being passed by Guy Edwards, getting a horrible run through the first, so T2 and T3 there. Looking now later on in this lap, this is Josephine Becker ahead of Eamon Ratchty, carrying a little bit less speed. Ratchty goes to the outside on the sweeping right-hander. Can we get a switch back here? Ratchty then dives for the inside at the hairpin that leads onto the long straight. This is going to carry on. This is going to be a drag race. Now we've got Becker, who's leading the way, so we didn't see the swap there between Ratchty and Becker earlier on, but Becker holds the lead. We've got Ian Stitchbury really opportunistically just wanting to get in amongst it, and Robert Koppler is the dark horse, who's taken the lead, gone through the middle, takes the lead through the chicane. Oh, and there's a touch. Josephine Becker has come out, I was going to say second best, but 4th best. She's shuffled from the lead down to 5th and now 6th. Killen gets through, Smith gets through. Becker has lost 6 positions in one sequence of corners. Oh boy. Later on in lap 4, this is Martin Gertz getting shuffled out at turn 2 and 3. Christopher Smith now on the inside of Neil Killen. Killen doing well. Oh, a bit of a hip and shoulder. Doing well to hang around the outside there. And Killen gives a little bit back, and it's Josephine Becker again. Oh, we've almost had another situation like race 1 where a car comes back on. I don't know if there's too much Josephine could have done there. I think she was holding brakes and just the momentum taking her wide. Frick Smith is doing a bit of lawn mowing duty on the front stretch. The grass was getting a bit long, so we appreciate your service there, Frick. Charlie Spink doing a bit of lawn mowing as well. The Aston Villa man just trying to make the turf as good as Villa Park looks, and he's off at turn 1, unfortunately. Again, some more lawn mowing duties as Charlie gets shuffled down to P13. We're watching Josephine Becker once again. Oh, very wide on the sweeping right-hander that leads up to the hairpin. Again, you lose a load of momentum here because it's the long straight that comes after that sequence of corners. I'm there on, it's Frick Smith on the back of Josephine in the other Wildfire car. A lot of momentum. We've then got DeBeck in front of Becker. Oh, Becker goes wide to the inside, almost making it 3 wide, but has she got Martin Shirley there? Hangs it around the outside. This is very tricky to go around the outside here too, but you do get a lot of momentum for the front stretch. They're still side by side. Becker gets the hip and shoulder again, but she's there. She's able to stay there for turn 1 and goes around the outside. Awesome move. Awesome. Martin Shirley, big special mention there as well, just facilitating that, not squeezing Josephine too much and allowing the racing to continue. That was great stuff. Nick DeBeck having a bit of trouble there early on in lap 15. This is now Yannick Williams. Whoa, Willems, no! We're at the S's. There was just a big overcorrection, and Willems, oh, that was so unlucky. Nick DeBeck suffering the same fate there, it seems, as well. A very tricky section of road. This is now Charlie Spink, who's had a very troublesome round. Again, coming off the racing surface. Lap 21 we are on. This is the final lap. Neil Killen just pushing a bit hard here in his chase of Edwards. So Guy Edwards about 10 seconds in front. Christopher Smith, we've got a bit of an issue here as well. He is in P4. Has Michael Schultz Cattleback in close pursuit, so can't afford to go too far wide. Again, Charlie Spink coming off the circuit. Charlie and I had a wonderful battle at the end of this feature race. You can see I'm right on the back of Charlie there. We had a battle that went right to the very last chicane. And fortunately, I was able to get it over Charlie there. This is Martin Kurtz. This is jump scare of the week, that one. Just getting a car moving on the racing line right as he came through. But nobody could top Robert Koppler in this session. This is Samuel Lindelof coming home in P2. Just could not do anything about the pace of Robert Koppler in this one. Koppler does take the championship lead from Philip Harmer as well. So real huge congratulations to Robert in this round. Just some awesome battling between Lindelof, our race 1 winner, and Koppler, our race 2 winner by 4 seconds. This is just Road Atlanta in the Porsche Cup car. You can't really get too much better in terms of racing. It's just a wonderful combination. So we have Koppler over Lindelof for the race win. Ian Stitchbury in P3. Christopher Smith P4. Michael Schultz Cattleback recovering to 5th position. Guy Edwards in P6. Neil Killen is P7. Josephine Becker is P8. Frick Smith P9. Martin Shirley P10. I managed to recover to P11 after that lap 1 debacle, let's say. Charlie Spink also battling back after lap 1, being involved in that incident in a big way as well to finish P12. Nick Beck is P13. Debelo is P14. De Bruin is 15th. Goetze is P16. Ratchdy P17. And Yannick Willems is P18. I've really enjoyed this round. It created so much chaos, but it created some really awesome racing, some huge incidents. And yeah, action was never too far away. I hope you've enjoyed this style of content. Let me know in the comments if you did, if you didn't, anything you'd like me to improve on or expand on. And we'll see you back for next week at Spa-Francorchamps. Until next time, keep racing hard, and we'll see you on the next video.
F1 gamer dead.